Welcome to Danys Healing Kitchen. I am Danny, an integrative nutritional health coach, and today we're gonna talk about grains, garlic water, and we're gonna be making fresh homemade garlic pills. We're gonna start right now soaking our grains. I have right here beans and rice, so we're gonna soak them right now in garlic water. So garlic water is pretty much just some water right here that I have in these two pots. We're just gonna cut it up, and we are going to cut up a few cloves of them, and we're gonna mince them up. Let's see, right here. And we're gonna add it to our water. What this does is that it's gonna create a very antimicrobial water. So whatever our grains have, usually rice, especially rice, have arsenic in it, and they could also have mold. So soaking the grains in water, garlic water, would like rinse out all those things and would make it very bioavailable for us, meaning that we're able to absorb all the nutrients that it contains, and also it's gonna be easier on our digestive systems. So we're gonna leave the garlic right here out sitting for about 1 or 2 minutes while the allicin, which is the very antibacterial properties that garlic have, and it releases. It only happens when you crush it or mince it, and it's left out for a few minutes or so. For now, we're gonna leave that in. We're gonna add our rice. You can add 1 or 2 cups depending on how many people you're feeding. I just added roughly some in there. We're gonna add a little bit more, just because my family is a family of 5. Then we have there, and then I had already added some beans to this one, so we're gonna leave it like that. After it had sat in there, we're gonna get some, you can add up to like 5 or whatever you think is best. And we're gonna add it to our water, and it's gonna smell really good because the allicin has a really, really strong odor to it. So we're gonna leave it right there, and depending on the type of grain of legumes you are using, you're gonna soak it from 1 hour to about 8 to 12 hours. So our beans I usually soak overnight, and rice is between 6, if it is brown rice, it's between 6 hours to 8 hours. If it is white rice, it's less time. But for now, we're gonna leave them in there, and when we come back, we're gonna have it all rinsed out. Now that our rice is soaked up, now we have our rice right here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our chicken broth or bone broth, or if you want just to use water, you're welcome to do that as well. So we're just gonna add in, if you can see right here on the inside the broth, it's already cooked with many spices and turmeric, and also oregano, and it also has salt already, so we don't really need to add anything to the rice anymore. I'm just gonna add a little pieces of fresh cilantro and a little bit of fresh oregano right there. But otherwise, because the broth already had everything in there, then we don't need to add anything else. I already have some rice already right here. So what I'm gonna do now, we're gonna be making a very famous dish from Costa Rica called rice with chicken, or arroz con pollo, what we call it. It's a very, very typical dish that you would find in parties and gatherings and any type of family gathering. So I have right here right now some ground beef already here in our pot, because I wanted it to cook before everything else, so it's all brown and cooked up. But we're gonna be adding some onions, and let's see, so we're gonna cut up some onions and add it to our dish. So this dish, my kids really enjoyed it, and my husband as well. We eat it as a family, and in Costa Rica, if you go, you're gonna have it in restaurants and many other places as well. So we're gonna add some onions. We're gonna add, these are fresh, not fresh, they're frozen veggies. If you wanna use fresh, you're welcome to, but for a faster version, I like to use these frozen. These are organic frozen vegetables, and they don't have any additives or anything. They're just peas, carrots, corn, and some green beans over there. So we are gonna let it cook all together. We're gonna mix it really well. And after that, we're gonna add some coconut aminos. If you don't have coconut aminos, you can use soy sauce. I personally don't like to use soy sauce, so I use coconut aminos instead of that. We're gonna be adding a little bit of teriyaki sauce as well. This is part of the same brand that I really like to use. And again, we're gonna be adding some salt, and we're gonna be mixing this with the rice. It's all combined together. And because the rice already has spices and salt, and so we're gonna make sure that that this one doesn't have too much of it. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna let it cook and simmer out all together, so that way we can prepare for that. We're gonna be adding some green sweet peppers. These are not spicy at all. If you want spicy, you can add some chichiro or jalapenos, but typical Costa Rican rice, it's not spicy at all. So if you do add some, these are chichiros, and chichiros are usually not spicy. So I'm gonna just add a little bit of it, and you can add a whole as well. Whole would really bring it a nice flavor to it. So right now we're gonna mix it all up, and now to finish it all up and make sure that I have here some shredded chicken, this is what Costa Rican people use, and they don't usually put ground beef. This is my like touch. My family would kill me if they see that I'm doing this with ground beef, because it's usually just chicken. So we're gonna add some chicken in here just to mix it all up and add it all together. And to give it some more flavor and also some color, like the yellow color, we're gonna put some turmeric in there. And for the turmeric to be absorbable in the body, we do need to add either a good fat or black pepper. So our guts cannot absorb turmeric without black pepper or some sort of fat in it, like ghee or any special oil in it. After everything is mixed up, we're gonna be adding our rice. So this is usually the ratio for this. It's 60% rice and like 40% of the rest of the things, but I like to add, sometimes I like to do 50-50, which to me it's a good combination of carbs, protein, and veggies all together. So I like to do 50-50, but in Costa Rica you're gonna find that the ratio is about 60-40 or something like that. So you can see rice and the other stuff. So stay tuned for our healing ingredient segment. We're gonna be making homemade garlic fresh pills, and we're gonna let these all cook together and simmer for a little while. We'll be back. Welcome to our healing ingredient segment. And today, since we're talking about garlic and garlic water, we are going to be making garlic pills. And this is because the supplements that the stores sell, they're not very efficient, because what happens with the healing ingredient that garlic has is very antimicrobial, and it's a very natural antibiotic. So, but the ones that they sell, it usually doesn't have that. This dies off after about 10 minutes of being out. So I don't really trust any brand. So it's easier and really, really efficient to do fresh garlic pills. And we use this in my house as a natural antibiotic. In onset of any like acute symptoms like fevers and things like that, this is my go-to. And it's a really lifesaver because I'm gonna add some honey right there, and I'm gonna mix it out. I already cut it out and minced it, and I left it right here. I'm gonna mix it out with honey for a little bit to release, and honey is antibacterial too, so to release all the good antimicrobials and antivirals in it. So garlic is very efficient. It's a very popular herb throughout the whole world for a good reason. And it's very efficient because when we get sick, it gets rid of things right away. And when we do this, what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna put in there, if you can use toothpicks, it's easier. I did not bring toothpicks today, but all I do is just shove it in there, and the faster you can do this, the better, because the pills also get soft. So these are gelatin pills, but if you want vegan pills, you can use one. These are double O pills, if you can see over there. They are easy to swallow. They're not too big, and you just close them up. And I'm gonna make one of them right now. And if it gets too soft, it's not too hard. It's not too easy to close. But as you can see right now, like the garlic is in there, and it just stood there for like 2 minutes or so. And when you swallow it, it really releases the allicin in your body, and it acts really quickly. Antibiotics usually are very strong, and they very, very, very bad for your gut. Not to say that they are not needed when there is a really bad infection or an emergency. Please don't say, I am not saying that that don't use antibiotics, but this is really effective. And my kids know that every time they get sick or they have a fever, this is our way to go for a natural antibiotic. Stay tuned for our next segment, which is our kid approved, and my son Liam is gonna join me to taste our dish. We'll be back. Welcome to our Kid Approved segment. Today I have my son with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. You wanna tell our audience your name and your age? What is your name?
Liam.
How old are you?
8.
He's 8. And so, do you know what we're having today, or what you're tasting?
No.
You don't know? This is rice with chicken, or arroz con pollo. Have you eaten it before?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay, so we have a little problem right now because you've never eaten that before. Liam, mommy doesn't make it at home. Okay, so we're gonna pretend that I don't make it at home. And so you're gonna tell us after you taste it how it tastes and see if you tasted it before. How about that?
Okay.
Go ahead. How is that? Do you like it? How does it taste like? So have you tasted before? You have? How many times?
About I guess 20.
20 times. Do you like it? What's it about that you like it?
It's good.
It's good? Do you think other kids will like it? Yeah, why do you think that? What does it taste like? Is it sweet? Is it salty? Is it savory?
Just good.
It's just good. Okay. Do you like the chicken? And the veggies? How about the veggies? What's your favorite veggie in there? Oh, the peas and the corn. So while my son enjoys that, in Costa Rica, this dish, as I mentioned before, it's very popular. And usually we put refried beans in it. We eat chips with it. Usually it's like potato chips, but I like to eat it with corn chips as well. And we put a side of a salad as well. And sometimes it's also with sweet plantain. So we fry the plantains as well. In my house, we eat it just like that with a side salad. And as you can see, my son is really enjoying, which makes me very happy. So stay tuned for our Q&A segment. We'll be right back. I'm so glad you like it, Baba. Welcome to our Q&A segment. My friend Erica is asking what foods cause bloating and what can we do to improve it. So bloating, everyone has had it at some point in their lives. And when it's something occasional, it's nothing to worry about. But when it comes like very often and you have other symptoms like diarrhea and you have nausea and fatigue and many other symptoms, it's better to get a clear diagnosis from your doctor. But in general, it could be caused by constipation, and one of the other things that are big on this is SIBO, or small bacteria overgrowth. So for those two things, there are things besides your doctor recommendation that you can do at home, and we're going to talk about here to improve those things. But first, let's talk about what foods could cause. Usually, the foods are high fiber foods like legumes and rice and cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower and broccoli. So things like that are high in fiber usually those are the kind of foods that provoke bloating. One of the things that you can do is have a food diary. And so record things, like if it happens on a regular basis, it's very useful that you record things and see when do you feel discomfort. When is it good to take something out and see if it feels better? The next thing you can do is eat slower. Right now, people live in such a fast pace. We are eating and chugging down our food that we don't have time to really help our digestive system the way we used to. We used to sit down eating meals together as a family, and now we just are in a rush and we don't have time. When we chew our food, we release enzymes that would help our stomachs really digest better, don't overwork. And then we would go to the small intestine and then the large intestine or the colon. So the whole thing, when you slow down on chewing and eating and be mindful of that, it would improve not only bloating but overall your digestion, and also you can lose weight because you're actually helping your whole body and digestive system. The other thing, and this is big, that you can do about bloating is fasting. And fasting is not for everyone. People with diabetes or blood sugar problems should not fast. But fasting is big because fasting, what happens is most people that have SIBO or kind of even mild bloating, what happens is that bacteria is not on the right place. Bacteria should be on the large intestine, and instead they travel back to the small intestine where they eat the carbs and fibers, and they shouldn't eat it there. They should have fermented in the large intestine. And when that happens, it causes a lot of problems. It causes you could have deficiencies in vitamins. You could have B12 deficiency. You could have the bloating sensation, digestive issues, diarrhea, and many other things. So fasting, what it does is we have this mechanism in our bodies. It's called the migrating matter complex. Is this mechanism that we have. It's like our cleaning system or housekeeping system. So what it does is it starts pulling down all our residues and food particles left out and bacteria that have gone up. It starts pulling it down and all the way and pushes it down to the large intestine or colon. But it only works from 90 minutes to 2 hours after we have finished eating, and it lasts about 2 to 3 hours, which means that in a period of time of 6 hours, it's working, but if we put anything in our mouths, it stops. So to really get it going, and this is one of the big problems with bloating, like people are not given enough space for that mechanism to take place. So when we fast, we give the mechanism a chance to work, and so our bodies would start to kind of reset and setting those things. So one of the things that you could do is eat dinner like an early time, and then don't eat any snacks until the next morning at breakfast. So that way, if you don't want to fast, then you can do that to help your body just reset throughout the night and have that mechanism in place. The other thing you could do if nothing works is you can have or buy or take digestive enzymes. Sometimes we are not able to digest because, again, we don't chew enough, so the enzymes that we're supposed to have are not there. So taking a supplement, a digestive enzyme, might help as well. The last thing is hydration. Hydration is huge because we need to be able to keep our bodies in a really good shape when it comes to hydration. So this is it for this segment, and I thank you for watching my show. Follow me on social media at Dany Bourbon Nutrition if you want to know more, or if you have any other questions. If you also would like to participate on my Q&A segment, follow me on social media and send me a message. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next show.